Alrighty then, g'day guys, and welcome! My name is Michael, and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, and welcome to Dungeons & Dragons Curse of Strahd, with, of course, my wonderful... Oh, is something wrong? Hello?
We can't see you on the
You can't see me?
Zoom.
Wait, oh, right. Oh, hang on, hold on. My players can't see me. I can see you. There you go. So there you go. That's fantastic. Thank you for reminding me. G'day guys. Hi. Yes, my name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. We are here playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, Curse of Strahd. And joining me, of course, is my wonderful Patreons who support the channel, help me keep the lights on. That being said, you may notice my contrast is a little bit off today. That is because one of my lights has exploded. And these kind of people are helping me pay for it. so there we go. But today we have a wonderful game in store as we continue our adventures through the lands of Barovia with Vagog, our Goliath wizard, played by the ever-wonderful Neil from Immersion Diversion. Argento, our Dragonborn paladin, played by none other than the delightful Charles. Demiro, our sensual satyr bard, played by my good friend Tim. And last but not least, we have our changeling cardomancer cleric, played by the wonderful McKinley. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hey, Mike.
All right, now we're gonna go straight into today's game because I've got an awesome thing lined up for you guys today. Mostly because I made it up. It's all yeah. So if you guys are looking forward for the Curse of Strahd module stuff, I'm taking a break from that. Not because of any reason, but because I had something better that I wanted to run. So I'm running it because this is my channel and this is my stuff. But
Nice.
yeah, I guess you guys will see what happens when we bust that open. Now, as for always, guys, you in the audience are not just here to watch. You guys are here to be a part of this game because why else do we watch and be a part of things like Dungeons & Dragons? So you guys get a way to interact with the game as we play. If you can give us a number between 1 to 51 during the course of the game, I will draw from this deck of plot twists, evil, sinister mysteries, and twists that will affect the game, sometimes for the party, sometimes against them, but who knows? Either way, it'll be fun. So throw out those numbers so that we might see what your fates ensue. All right, without any further ado, let us throw in today's game by showing this wonderful map. Now, if you are curious, the maps on my channel come courtesy of a wonderful Patreon called Neutral Party. I will share a link in the description. And in addition, all the models and tokens that you can see are made in Hero Forge, both of which are wonderful sponsors of our channel. All right. Now, when last we left our Barovian adventurers, they were amidst the streets of the village of Barovia, after having spoken with a few of the townsfolk, including but not limited to, what was the Burgermeister's son's name? Ismark, that's the one. Learning, of course, that some mysteries were unfolding around the death of his late father. The group, however, was interrupted by the sounds of a shrieking coming from outside in a nearby alleyway, where they have stumbled across a bloody crime scene. A woman murdered, lying in an alleyway, lying in a pool of her own blood. Her neck gouged out by what seems to be an animal attack. It is here that we pick up our game, as the body lies in front of you.
I was gonna say, someone check that body, and I'm going to use my grave collect feature to see if there are any undead nearby, within 30 feet.
Very well. You stretch out your mind trying to detect the undead. Looking around the alley and the rooftops, you do not detect any undead, but there is a strong, lingering, almost like an incense or a smell. The undead have been here, and recently too.
I'll have examined the body for any, well, I don't know, do we know 100% certain that she's dead?
You do not. Upon closer inspection, please make a, medicine check.
4.
No.
Checking the pulse. There's definitely...
Check her ankle for a pulse.
Yeah, it's definitely cold to the touch. Mostly because you're kind of still wary about the alleyway. It's dark, it's late night. You know that there are indeed some dangers that lurk here. You don't really fancy yourself, kind of putting yourself in the middle of the alleyway where someone had clearly died. So you kind of lean in a little bit, and with your satyr hand, you touch her ankle and sort of shake her toes. Yeah, she's dead.
I would like to check the body and see if there's a indication of how she died.
Certainly. You may move forward and likewise make a medicine check.
No, I'm not a doctor, but it's probably the hole in the side of her neck.
Gosh darn it, he's right.
You're right. No.
All right.
Correct to the case.
Okay. With a 17, you notice that there is something strange. The blood around her neck seems to be quite violently exploding from the open wound. But you could almost swear like the bite was made post-mortem, as if something had dragged out the blood, as opposed to it splurting from her heart beating. You notice that the blood in the pool around her seems to kind of be coagulating a lot faster than you would imagine it should be. There are a few odd things that make you think that maybe this woman was dead when she was bitten.
So Argento's sort of taking in the scene a little bit, and he's feeling a bit uneasy. Something seems very familiar about all of this to Argento. So the little medallion that he wears is getting a little bit. He's starting to feel it. He normally doesn't feel that it puts off a cold presence. He's actually feeling it, and he's becoming a bit uneasy about this. And he tells the group, "I'm going to say to you guys, this is familiar. I've seen this before. When I was a young dragon, I lived in a village, and everyone in my village had died. And this is what they all looked like. They had all been punctured in the neck like this. Something is not right. Something is very wrong with this. Starting to get a little fidgety here."
You said that I think that the body was dead before it got drained.
The evidence seems to point towards that.
Okay.
I mean, if that was
Here-
the case, then maybe scream wasn't from this person, from someone else seeing it.
Looking around,
Argento,
I would like
when-
everyone to make me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh, natural. Man.
I was gonna say, Argento, when your town was attacked, and you said these people looked like that after they were dead as well.
Yes, everyone, my neighbors, everyone was in the streets. They lying around.
Was there anyone in town that was still alive?
Only one thing, one creature. He looked human, but he's something weird about him. He was different. He appeared from nowhere, and he disappeared the same way. He just was in a mist, and he was there, and then he wasn't. But no one else was there.
The guy was gonna pull out the rope from his bag. Here's, I think, climber's kit. Is that what I have?
Sure.
Well, I have a hempen rope. I'm gonna take the rope out. I'm gonna tie up the hands and legs on the body.
All right. As you move over to the body, all of a sudden, you hear the sounds of bones snapping. And it starts to thrash quite violently.
Duh!
It goes into seizures. What do you do?
Argento, hold him down!
run over and hold him.
Seizures?
What did you do to the body?
I didn't do anything.
If it's seizures, then you aren't supposed.
Not supposed to hold them down if they're seizing.
But they're dead. This isn't supposed to happen after something is dead.
Something very strange.
Maybe it's not quite dead yet.
That's why I'm tying it up.
As you go to do so, that moment of indecision costs you dearly. Esther, it is your turn. Sorry, you said you want to do something?
Sorry, I wanted to do before the perception check. I'm sorry, I wanted to cast
No, by all means. By all means. We can,
Oh, yeah, you
we
did
can
get a
bring it up
high
a bit.
one, so.
Gentle repose.
Oh, sorry.
What was that?
If there had, it's okay if it's too late, but I had wanted to go to the body first and see if I could cast gentle repose, but since it's too late, it's okay.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, you would have, at the same time as doing this, realized the body wasn't undead when you cast your spell. It had transmogrified up until this point. And as you make your perception checks, both Esther and Demiro, you notice that there are claw marks running up the side of the building here. And as Vigard goes to tie down the legs and Argento goes to kind of hold down the seizing woman, you notice that its eyes suddenly become inky and stained. As from these black pits, these two yellow orbs, almost brightly shining like moonlight, appear in the center of the iris and lock onto Vigard. We are playing Moment of Indecision.
Uh-oh.
So Vigard, as you're trying, as Argento is going, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't. And by the way, this is good advice. You should not be grabbing hold of people who are seizing and pinning them down. That's absolutely not right. And in that moment,
Right, yeah.
in that moment, the body is going to lunge and attack you, Vigard.
No!
What was that plot twist?
That one was the backstabbed plot twist.
Ooh.
Oh,
As it is going to strike you from behind, reaching to bite Vigard with a 22.
Ow. Yeah, that'll hit.
Only just, right?
Only just.
Does this
All
happen to do any elemental damage at all?
It does necrotic damage, if you count that as elemental.
I can't do that with absorb.
Kind of an element.
Alright, so it lunges and bites. The woman starts to smile and giggle as you fly into battle. Alright, first on the initiative, Vigard.
I'm going to try and pull her off of me.
Alright, make an athletics check.
Okay.
Let's see, and here we go.
Probably not, but 13.
Alright, with a 13, let's see how she does.
Is that laughter coming from her?
Oh yeah. She's very joyful about whatever's happening. Oh, you managed to force her backwards.
God, yes!
She slams into several barrels which collapse and seem to pour out a mixture of rainwater and brine onto the ground. She's sitting in mud looking down, her neck possibly broken. The flesh seems to still be somewhat missing. But yes, she's not looking the best. Vigard, that's your standard action to push her off you. What are you doing now?
Yep. I gotta back up, get behind. That hurt a lot.
Alright, you back up. Esther, it is your turn.
So I'm just holding my neck. Watch out for the bite.
Can I discern what she's been turned into?
Yes. Please make me a religion check if you would like.
And I'm not sure. I tried to get rid of the bonus from the headband, but if it's still there, then I only have a plus 1, I think.
Sure. With a 7, that is not going to give you the information you require. Definitely some kind of undead, though.
Okay. Then, may I use my inspiration?
Sure, absolutely. You think harder, pondering over some of the features, the particular canines that jut. You
Wait, that's
believe
wrong.
this creature happens to be a vampire spawn.
And what's that?
A vampire spawn is not too unlike a ghoul, a flesh and blood-eating undead. The difference is usually they are enthralled to a vampire, a blood-sucking, parasitic revenant of sorts that prides itself on being a quite intelligent and noble undead that exerts its dominion over others, both living and dead. In this case, this woman who has recently been turned likely has no master instructing her at present, and is simply satiating a burning and unrelenting desire to feed.
Then, may I cast Sacred Flame?
You muted now, Michael.
Oh, sorry, my headphones fell out. I missed that. What was that?
May I, if I still have an action, may I cast Sacred Flame?
Absolutely. You reach downwards and begin to conjure this golden flame. It seems to hang on the tip of what looks to be a playing card, tarot card, which you then fling in that direction. As the creature is unable to save, the tarot card straightens up and plants straight on her head. You hear this screaming as the fires engulf, dealing a total of 5 points of damage.
Nice.
As the flames cover. Oh, sorry, go on.
Do I know what languages vampire spawns would speak at? If they have any extra languages?
There is Necrol, but most would normally speak whatever the original person spoke. So in this case, Barovian and Common would be the normal languages.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
We now go to the vampire spawn. She hisses at Esther and takes the burning tarot card off her head before throwing it to the ground, rebuffing it as one would expect a vampire to rebuff silver or a cross. Looking in your direction, she reaches for what looks to be a piece of wood, and using her arm, she kind of just throws it with superhuman strength towards Esther.
Whoa.
It flies towards Esther and deals.
I'm going to use my last, because we haven't had a rest yet, right? Like a long rest?
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, I used my last time reverse, the chronal shift.
Sure. She will roll that again.
Like, click it and it reverses.
She gets the same thing.
Ow, dang it. Oh.
So, as you rewind the chronal clock, the wooden slat kind of flies back into her hand. She throws it again with almost the exact same accuracy, and unfortunately, it still strikes her in the shoulder, dealing a total of 5 points of damage to Esther. Argento.
Yes. All right. Seeing this, I'm going to do my bonus action of casting Searing Smite onto
Your Warhammer?
Vampire. I'll cast my Searing Smite onto her.
Beautiful. Once again, she seems to be unable to resist the glowing energies of your divine smite. The flames She hisses.
Nice. So with that, I'll then attack with the warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh, that one will miss. It swings over her head and crashes into the large cabinet that's next to her. As it smashes, some of the sweet potatoes that were stored in there tumble to the floor.
My sweet potatoes.
Demiro.
Do we have a general knowledge of vampires in this, like staking them or things like that might have effects or
Not
really?
presently. You may make you can make a religion check in order to try and identify it.
Okay.
People samba.
All right. While you don't know too much about vampires, there are 3 ongoing, I guess, rumors or myths surrounding them. The first is that they are harmed by sunlight. The second is that one will not enter unless invited into the home. And the third is they are deathly allergic to garlic.
Garlic on me, so
We have the 3 full meals. We could throw garlic in there. There's got to be garlic in there somewhere.
oh, that's true. We got the special meal.
Cure of exhaustion. Give her a pizza. No, I was kidding.
I don't know if you're on mute, Michael.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
No, you're good.
Nope, I'm on mute.
Would there be any garlic in those special meals that we found?
Oh, sure. I don't see why not.
Can I use my move action to dip crossbow bolts in the garlic?
Sure.
So good.
Taking out your crossbow bolts, you begin to skewer them with garlic.
Might work.
You have a garlic kebab.
Garlic kebab.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And then I'll do it.
Shear the throat. Make her eat garlic. No. Ooh.
All right. Deal your damage as the arrow flies.
nice.
As it strikes her, the garlic seems to have no effect.
They lied to us. No.
Maybe it wasn't enough garlic.
Yeah.
Quick, the other cloves.
All right. Vigog, it is your turn.
All right. So, in the brief pain that I'm currently in, I will, now that I am behind everyone, I will attempt to help out. I'm going to cast Witch Bolt. Wait, 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, okay. I'm going to cast Witch Bolt on the vampire spawn.
Which bolt?
Yeah, it's that purple beam I shot before that.
Yeah, no, but which one?
Ha! You got me again.
All right. This bolt of purple lightning flows out of your hand, and the orb makes its way in her direction. As it does so,
Yes.
it strikes at her.
Healing. 4 lightning damage.
All right. 4.
But now I don't have to roll anymore. I just have to hit. Or I mean, I just have to damage.
Concentrate. Yep. Esther, it is your turn.
Don't let her get away.
Okay, so what I was impaled with, is it too deep that if I tried to pull it out, it would cause me to start bleeding out, or is it enough that I can pull it out?
It is deep enough that if you were to pull it out without a heal check, it would open a wound.
Okay. And what material was it again?
Wood.
Okay.
Ponderosa pine, if if anyone's
So
asking.
did the vampire just stake our cleric?
Ponder's
What's that?
Did the vampire just stake our cleric?
Yes. See how you like it.
Let's see. Sorry, hold on 1 second. So, wait, what is he? So, would I be able to pull out and then, I've used bonus action healing word, or would that not be enough?
No, that'd be fine. Yeah. You brace yourself as you pull the stake, the spike out of your chest. As you start to bleed, you place your hand over the wound and then speak the healing words. As they do so, the energy flows through your body, and all of a sudden, you are healed.
And then let me drop the dice.
Nice.
Okay. Would I know about limb sticks?
About what, sorry?
Oh, sorry. Knowing about undead, would she know anything about wind stakes?
Wooden stakes.
About the weakness? No.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So far it's garlic,
Sunlight.
the entering a house, and the sunlight.
Someone throw her into a house. Just throw her in an open door. That'd be funny. Alright.
I think you still got your action left. Or was that to pull the thing out?
I thought it
You
was
still have a
full.
move action if you want to use it.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Let's see. I want to stay in front of the guy, just because, just in case. I would
Alright. Very
be an
well.
interceptor.
Sure, not a problem there. Alright.
There you go.
The Vampress. Let's see. After receiving a series of burning blows from the individuals who wish to smite her, she will... Let's see. Ooh, actually. Let's see. She turns to you, and as she steps forward, she says, "Only, please help me. I don't know what's happening. My brain, it's like a thousand creatures crawling around my skull." She clutches her ears. And that is all she does in her turn. Argento.
Oh, I'm a bit taken back by this. I want to attack, but I'm kind of now standing here watching as this creature is sort of pleading for help. So I'm torn between what I naturally want to do and what I naturally love to do, which is help people who need help. So I think on this turn I will sort of stand down and just sort of watch to see if, I'm not gonna advance on her, but I'm gonna sort of stand back and just see what's happening, see if she's trying to set a trap for us or if she actually is wanting us to help. So I'll pass my turn on to Demira.
Can I try a insight?
Yeah, absolutely. Argento, you're kind of on guard with your hammer at the ready, just in case she tries to jump out. Demira, as you investigate, it seems as though the transformation, while slowly influencing her mind, the memories of herself as a human are still there. But you can watch, almost as her eyes start converting and changing those feelings of her life from things of love and joy into jealousy, bitterness. And she, you could see it kind of like slowly twisting her up inside.
Interesting.
Could I try a persuasion check to see if I can get it to sort of stand down along the lines of your words have more gravity than you may understand. The inner turmoil, and you're wrestling with this situation that you find yourself in. Maybe we might be able to find a way to help you, but these new emotions that you're feeling, you have to try not to let them rule your actions.
All right, make your persuasion check.
So I get a minimum 10 on persuasions on the dice.
All right. I'm going to play the plot twist card, The Path Least Traveled, as courtesy by our lovely audience members. As a negotiation with the vampire spawn is what I consider to be the path least traveled, you may re-roll that check.
Yeah, everyone does that, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Everyone talks to vampires. Hey, you, Mr. Vampire. Want to go out for a bite?
Give an insight check.
All right. With the 21, we will pause our combat. And she will turn to you. She says, "Please, I'm scared. I don't know what's... Oh, the pain.
Well, we must find someone more knowledgeable than us to assist, but clearly you're wrestling with strong demons at the moment. Would we have any idea of things in this town, like people that might have more knowledge in these sorts of things than us?
You may make a history check. Okay, with an 18. Ignore that.
For just a moment, I only know we've got the pub and we've got the shop. That's about it.
All right. You think for a moment. Apart from the Vistani, and of course Esther, there's no real specialist to the undead that you can think of. But you do recall that there is a church to the north. Perhaps the priest there might be able to shed some light on how to remove the undead blight from this poor girl.
We can try that. If you can hold on a while longer, then we may know some people we can ask for help.
She says, I will try.
And if you can't hold it back, we can always restrain you if you wish. We have means to do so, so if you don't think you would be able to.
She, as she says, how, she goes to stand, and you realize that that just her basic movements snap the rope like they're tissue paper.
It may help on the journey if you could talk about your past a little bit, remind yourself of memories and maybe some family you had or some good times you may have had at some point.
She nods. She says, My name was Bree. I was a cobbler here in the village of Barovia. I looked after my late mother until she passed a month ago. Old age. I've been working alone ever since. There's... And she seems very pained. She'll carry on like this as best she can. But it's up to you to where you want to go now, and if you wish to discuss anything on the way.
Well, I'm thinking maybe the church or the Vistani. Who's going to help the best? Anyone else has an idea?
I've never tried to move anyone with it, but I have my coil and grasp tattoo. I can always grab her with that, and we could try and drag her. Or I could try holding her here while you guys...
At the moment, she's just walking with us.
Oh, I thought she was, like, struggling in there still. Okay.
No, she was just proving that the ropes weren't going to do anything.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't proving that. It just happened. Think of it this
Well,
way,
it just happens.
It's like this. Name me one vampire movie where they just get some rope and lasso Dracula, and I was just like, yeah, that'll do for the day. It's perfectly fine. Here, just some rope.
It's rope soaked with holy water, okay? No, just kidding. No.
They have done it in a couple, but then usually the vampire breaks out and cuts the throat.
And so we do know that they, like wooden stakes will hurt them, right? We do know that, correct?
No,
We
you
don't know that. Okay.
Okay, well, if we're gonna
'Cause I have one, but
we're gonna go
since I'm bringing it out, I got a warhammer, so.
What direction do the claw marks go?
They seem to climb to the top of the roof and seem to head to the north. For this purposes, we are just going to... Whoops. Come back here, you. Stop it. Behave. There we go. And
Vampires taking control of the stream.
Look, I just...
Let's ask it a question. Does she know who did this to her?
She says, I don't recall. You see, I was working, dragging some of the leftover offcuts of leather out into the alleyway, when a stranger called from behind. I reached out, and next thing I knew, there was a pain. And then darkness.
Well, I guess, is the church closer than the Vistani? Is it in town or out of town?
All right.
Church is right there on the north, just like four
Indeed.
buildings
So
over.
you guys are currently here in this kind of back alley area, and the church is just up here.
Okay, so a few minutes away.
Yeah.
Well, my suggestion is that we head to the church. It's
Yes.
closest. They may know something to help. Does anyone have any questions they wanted to ask along the way?
Not any questions for her. I've got a question for the church when we get there.
I have a question for her. Does she know of anyone else around the town that has go missing?
No, I can't say that it is. I mean, there are people who do go missing in the wilderness, but not necessarily from the city. Why?
Something just peculiar that a few minutes ago we found you and, well, you were dead, so. That just seems
Ooh.
something's going on.
She cries out yet again as she clutches her head. You quickly make your move, heading northwards towards the church. The road is long, and you try to avoid the main road. There are still people out at this time of day, and it may not be wise to be traveling with such a pale stranger in this area of Barovia. Eventually, you come to a beautiful sight. A church that sits standing, a little saggy and worn, but a sure sign of assurance. It lies atop a slight rise that overlooks the city and leans heavily against one side. The weather, having worn and beaten against a particular side of this building, has worn the stone down to give it a very distinct look. A bell tower rises towards the back, and a flickering light shines through the window.
So is it currently daytime?
It's currently nighttime.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Let us put you
Knock,
guys.
knock.
Oops. Here you. We have Vagag. We have Esther. We have Vampire. We have Argento. And we have Domino. All right. There are our wonderful people. All right. Excellent. All right. So that is what you see as you approach the church.
Okay. Before we enter, I actually do have something that I think could help her out, even if just a little bit. I need to take 1 minute though to be able to cast it, if that's all right with you, for meaning the Demiro, Esther, Argento, and the vampire.
If you think it will help.
I'm going to take a minute, and I'm going to cast Fortune's Favor on her. It lasts 1 hour, and you impart latent luck on yourself or one willing creature you can see within range. When the chosen creature makes an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw before the spell ends, it can dismiss the spell on itself to reroll an additional d20 and choose which d20 to use. So she can use it on a saving throw to possibly stop herself from being taken over again if she wants to use it like so.
Or she could use it on an attack roll to rip your throat out.
Yeah, but that's a chance we're going to take, aren't we?
All right.
Yeah.
Gog, you take a minute and you cast the spell upon her. She looks to you, suspicious at first, but then, realizing you mean her no harm, continues the march towards the church. Demira, you're the first person to climb the stairs, with Esther closely behind. Argento and Vagag, you stay quite close to your new friend as you approach the church.
Is the door open or locked?
It is closed, but not locked.
Okay. I'll open it up and call out, knock, knock.
There is no response.
Oh, I'll head in.
The door opens with a loud and inside you see a small hallway. It's 10 foot wide and 20 foot tall. Inside, it is brightly lit. 4 doors on either side of you, and the chamber seems to lead forward into a large area of the church, now strewn with debris. The pews have been torn asunder and ripped apart. As you enter, you hear the sounds of shaking coming from behind you.
I'm actually gonna stay outside with her.
Sure.
And I'm gonna ask Argento if he could maybe stay back with me.
Yeah, I'll stay back with you.
Sure. vampire spawn. She does not seem to be able to push herself past. As she tries to enter, she seems confused. She looks at her hand and she says, I don't understand.
I put my hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, we'll keep you company out here. If they need us inside, that's any invitation that I can think of. So
She turns to you and nods. She does seem still particularly perturbed by this.
We did suspect that there might be the invite thing to come in. I don't know if it works if we're not the house owner, but I'll ask her to come in with us so we can talk to whoever's in here.
As you do so, she is then able and steps in.
okay, and then I guess then we can go with her. Yep. So then we'll go in.
All right.
Hello?
As you call out, you hear a voice. Who goes there? Who comes into this place at our hour of true darkness? A man emerges from the back.
Hello, Father, is it? I'm Demiro, Soundhoof. These are my companions. We've come seeking perhaps your knowledge or expertise.
He looks over you and he says, of course, the Church of Jagal is always welcome to... One moment. You defile this place with your presence, vile creature. Begone, lest I smite thee where thy stand.
I put my hand on her shoulder and sort of in a not a like he's going to attack defensive way, but just standing next to her.
You don't like satyrs?
I speak not of you, though
Oh.
I'll admit the visage of a horned and cloven-hooved individual does bring me measures of discomfort. It is to that pale monstrosity that I address. You, my lady, are no creature of flesh and blood, but a predator of the night, here to do the work of the evil and the misbegotten, to lead astray and destroy those who would fight for good.
It's her who we brought to talk to you about because she unfortunately just died in the street and has come back like this, but we don't have any knowledge of what's happening with her. But she still has memories of her past.
Make a persuasion check. And while doing so, I would like Vigag, Argento, and Esther to make me perception checks as well.
Okay.
So that's a 17.
All right. With a 17, he looks and he says, "Speak, hideous monster. Do they speak the truth? Do you have even a shred of humanity left within that rotted carcass of yours?" She cries, like, flat out. Like, she just starts crying in
Can I
front
try
of this.
and cast a, like, stealth, or can I try and quietly, like, unnoticeably cast a spell on her? Actually, how long?
You mean in front of everyone, like, while you're right next to people with a verbal and
We're
somatic
behind.
component?
We're behind. Hang on, let me see what...
Look, the only way I'm going to let you do it is literally wear a glittering outfit and yell out abracadabra. No.
Fine. I was gonna do it in Argento, instead of undead, make her look alive. But
A little late, mate.
I know. I realized that, so I should have done that before. Whatever.
It was really such harsh language, at least not yet. You're still amongst friends. And she was just telling us how she's the cobbler in town and has recently lost her mother and been working alone in these past period of time.
She says, "Ah, then you are Elena's daughter. I saw you during her funeral."
So you know her.
I know of her. The question is does she know of her? Tell me, child, what became of your good father? I don't know. I can't remember. I don't remember my father. And siblings? Didst thou have many? No, I had no siblings. But I had a daughter. Oh gods, I had a daughter. The priest looks solemn. Perhaps there is still time. Come with me to the inner sanctum. Quickly! He hurriedly moves to the back of the church. Do you follow?
Yeah.
He looks over and inspects the wounds. Many of them have started to fester and rot. But you notice that he notices that they have not yet begun to heal. He says, I ask this now only because I do not trust the undead, but only have trust in those of flesh and blood who stand against the great darkness that resides in Barovia. Compassion is a difficult thing. Wouldst thou cure this woman, or wouldst thou see her returned to the grave?
I might like to see me cured, possibly, also.
I mean, she
So,
did
yes.
die, as unfortunate as that might be, but probably best deferred to our cleric specialized in grave matters. Esther?
So, is he a father, an abbot, a deacon, or do you just not know yet?
He has not said. He hasn't even introduced himself.
Yeah.
He's
I
his
was
father.
assuming he's some kind of father, but I don't know.
I assume that too much physical contact would be a bit stressful at this point, so I offer my hand to the debris if she wants to take it. But I say to the who has not been introduced yet. Good sir, it's in times like these that we must remember that we are not the ones who ordain what is not. We cannot say for certain anything about the undead. We know their habits, we know their type, but we cannot say they're all the same. There's a chance, we take it.
And what if she cannot be saved? Would you be the one to cleft her head from her neck? Or you to drive a stake through her beating blackened heart?
I look to her. She will be the one to tell me when to do it. I trust her.
Very well. Then stand aside. He approaches and has what in his hand appears to be a censer, a large metal sphere that he has put a variety of incense in. He begins to walk around her, wielding it and swinging this smoke back and forth. As he does so, she starts to cry out. Blood begins to kind of pool in her vascular veins over her forehead, so much to the point of bursting. As she slowly starts to say, "No, please, it hurts." He starts to incant and to chant. He reaches into his pouch and pulls out what looks to be a vial of holy water and starts to fling it violently towards her. She hisses as it steams and smokes as it splatters on her. He continues in this fashion, around and around. What happened to my music? Alright, one moment.
It got too dramatic.
Let's try this.
Oh!
Alright, here we go. Let's see. Exorcism.
It's just so scary.
Done. Alright. Beautiful. He starts to incant. Flehuan Nahar, Voltir Magan, Voltir Magan Filna, Watsien Vampir, Wasnil Vampir. And he keeps spraying her. As he does, she starts to hiss once again. And as she sort of falls to her knees, she grabs hold of her ears and she continues to yell, eventually vomiting out this torrent of blood. As he repeats himself once again, she eventually falls to the ground and begins convulsing in seizures. He then says, "Now, I pray to thee, dost thou have potions of a healing, or hands of the clergy? Speak now, for this may increase her chances of survival."
We both
I
have.
got fortune.
We both have some knowledge of the healing ways.
Then lay your healing upon this wretched creature. May the plague be burned from her very body. Latur mahin, wasal mahir. Ah!
I will sing a healing word.
You begin to sing your healing words. Anyone else?
If I may.
Yep, what would you like to do?
It takes 10 minutes, so I don't know if we'll have enough time, but prayer of healing.
No, the incantation will take that long. So I mean, yeah, no problem there. All right. As this happens, you begin to cast your healing spells. Her body then lifts, floating in the air and rotating, encased only by the smoke. As this happens, he then says, "Now, restore to us this child. May her spirit be lifted, and the decay and rot of the wicked creature be driven from her body. May those who care for her send their healing light upon her flesh, so that she may once again be whole. Return to the land of the living. Allow your soul to mesh and entwine with the body once more." And once this happens, I'm going to play. Oh, I've got two cards here.
One good, one bad.
I got two cards. Yeah, I know exactly. One is Moment of Glory, and one is Parting of Ways.
Michael,
Yeah.
I feel like I should be able to choose since I put Fortune of Favor on her. Fortune's Favor. No,
That's true. Fortune's favor is on her. All right, you know what? I'm going to give it a 25% chance of failure. I'm going to use one plot twist card one way or the other. On a 25 or lower, the ritual does not work. Anything else?
Seems fair.
She'll be okay. All right, here we go.
Ooh.
Here we go. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
with a 61. We are playing Moment of Glory, which I have dropped on the floor. Yeah.
Oh no! It failed!
All right. Moment of Glory. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. With Moment of Glory, the plot twist having been played, there is a sigh of relief. Her body comes down, and the wound around her neck is stitched. Her flesh slowly begins to regain color. The priest sighs and wipes his brow. Praise be. You have
This is,
acted.
a miracle of sorts.
I'm afraid it is not something as simple as a miracle. It is something more. It is... At this point, I want everyone to make me another perception check.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a-
never mind. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
All right. Very nice indeed. All right. Esther, you hear something beneath the main, what do you call it, altar. Father, help me. I'm hungry, Father.
What?
That is what you hear, Esther, coming from below the ground. No one else seems to hear it, and the priest doesn't seem to hear it or doesn't acknowledge it. But whatever the case is, he turns to you once again and says, "There. It has been done." His voice hoarse and weak. I didn't properly introduce myself. I am the acolyte of this temple, Donovic, caretaking after the former priest's disappearance.
Has
Disappeared?
Has Bagag ever heard of that before? If it's like a famous name or...
It is not a famous name.
Okay.
What do you mean disappearance? He just disappeared one day? He just, did anybody know he was going to go somewhere? Or did he just leave, never came back?
The priest was traveling around to seek aid a few years ago. Well, a little more than a year ago now. You see, he looks around almost as if to check to see the eyes and ears of this place are quieted. You see, little over a year ago, the people of the village of Barovia sent some of ours to storm the castle at Ravenloft. The priest went to go and find help in this escapade from the other villagers, but did not return. I have been here instead ever since.
So the villagers raided the castle of Ravenloft? What'd they do that for?
I recognize that you are newcomers, but there are some questions that one does not speak aloud the answers to.
So have you seen people like this girl before? the way that we brought her in. Have you seen them like this?
He looks at the girl and says, I have seen others like this, usually long gone, and minions to the Lord of Night. But this is the first time one so fresh has come into my presence. It brings me some measure of hope that we may, he pauses, that it may not be over.
Clearly, you're well versed in the matters. Fortunate that we found you here.
Indeed.
He says that is not important. The girl, she'll need rest. And for the time being, she'll need just water and some time to recover. The transformation was not complete, and she did not fully succumb herself to the evilness of the dark heart that beat within her. But her flesh wounds will need time to stitch and mend.
Well, as long as she'll be okay from now, without needing daily injections.
He nods.
Sure. I get on the if she's kneeling, I get on the Bree's level and put one hand on her shoulder, and she probably can't understand me, but I say audibly in Celestial, "You are light in this darkness."
She seems unconscious and doesn't understand you, but your words seem to resonate with this place. Several of the windows seem to rattle in the wind as you speak your words.
You don't happen to know where she was living, do you, Donovic?
I do.
Memories was that she has a daughter. Perhaps we should return her home.
Yes, no, I'm aware of where she lives. If you head towards the Blood on the Vine Tavern, she lives a few houses behind, with a blue door.
Is that the tavern that we were just at?
Yes. All right. He turns and he says, well, late is the hour and I must excuse myself. I have my my duties to attend to before morning service. And there's much to be done. I bid you good travels.
I listen for the voice again.
Sorry, Esther?
Sorry, I listen for the voice again.
You listen for the voice. Because you were listening for it specifically, you do indeed hear it. It is very, very soft. Father. Oh, the pain. I'm so hungry.
It sounds like it's coming from below.
It does. It sounds like it's coming from below the church.
Should we get her back home then?
Yes.
Why don't you guys go ahead? I'll meet you at the Blood and Tavern. I got a couple last questions for him I need to ask, but I feel like we should get her home as soon as possible. I won't be long.
Yeah, we'll see you there. We'll meet you at the tavern.
Okay. Sounds
So
good.
Argento looks at Vergog and says, "Are you sure you'll be all right alone?"
I'm sure I'll be all right. Even though I'm a Goliath, I'm fairly I mean, I feel very smart about what I'm doing here, so don't worry. I'll meet you there. I promise.
That is definitely something smart people say. I definitely feel quite smart about this next thing.
Shut up.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was sitting there.
I lose this place.
Just at university, like giving his lecture. I feel really smart about this thing.
I don't see you there in an hour. I'm coming to look for you.
Okay, thanks. I very much appreciate it.
So then I'll pick the girl
Maybe-
up and I'll carry her because she's unconscious, right?
Yep.
Maybe
You
an
place your
hour
arms under her
short.
knees and supporting her back as you
Yeah.
carry her out of the church and into the streets of Barovia.
As we're leaving, I pull the dog aside and I whisper as slowly as I can. Listen close. There's something under me.
You say that to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out. I didn't hear anything, but I'll take your word for it, and I will be very, very careful. I won't engage or anything. I just have a couple of questions for him. That is all. We can deal with it later for sure, and I trust your word. So, thank you for letting me know, Esther. I kind of pat her on the shoulder. We'll see you in a bit.
All right. Demira, sorry, I must have missed it, but where are you going?
Heading back to return Bree and go to the tavern.
Okay. Yep.
Wait, it's not
Messed up.
different. That's okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I can wait a second though.
No. Go. I'm just finding out what you guys are doing. So.
I'm looking for. I went to. Well, it's probably a while away where Periwinkle's mom was buried, but someplace that has water running near it.
All right. Let's have a look at our map of Barovia. I think. All right, and I'm going to share the map with everyone so everyone can see it. All right. So currently, you guys are in the village of Barovia. The closest area of running water would probably be this, the Ivlis River that's just here.
And would there be any places where there's just, well, it doesn't have to be like a big body of water. It doesn't have to be running, just in general,
Is
a
it-
place where I could find water.
Maybe a
Outside.
well or something.
Yeah, I imagine there'd be a well. Village of Barovia. There you go. Yeah, there's a well over here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, and there's a well over here. Yeah, there's a well over here. There's all the wells.
There's a couple of them, yeah.
You're like, hey, no, I've seen them
Full of
all.
wells. All right. So, Esther, you were going to find a place where you can find a well. Demiro and Argento, you are returning Bree to her house and then making your way towards the tavern. And Vagard, you were staying at the church in order to have a few final words. Let us begin with Demiro and Argento.
Yes.
You guys begin to make your way towards the tavern. Moving past it, you find yourself in an alleyway and eventually to a house with a blue door. There, out the front, a homeless man says, "Oh, I see that you be coming in late, calling to the dear Mrs. Bree." Demiro and Argento, this homeless man is talking to you.
A homeless man, did you say?
Yeah. Well, you can't come in. The lady's not at home. She wanders the streets, perhaps for a gentleman such as yourselves.
Well, actually, we're returning the lady to her home. She's right here.
She says, "Oh, you're a brave fellow, you are. Attacking a woman like that and dragging her home. Such barbaric behavior. Ooh."
Didn't attack this
does
lady.
that happen often around here? People attacking others and then taking them home
Well,
to their house?
it be the way of the travelers, the ones that don't belong.
You mean the Vistani?
He says, yes, filthy Vistanis.
Ah. Well, I mean, they were a little unwashed occasionally, but otherwise seemed fairly welcoming.
Yes. But also they're cursed. Do you ever
Oh, yeah, of
wonder
course.
why the Vistani never need food, or water, or to be supported by a town?
Well,
Truth be told, it's they have a secret. They know how to leave Barovia, and they keep it to themselves, filthy bastards.
why not just go and ask them?
All they spit from their vicious tongues is lies. Not unlike the traveller, he says, pointing in your direction, carrying unconscious women through the dark alleys at night. Oh, shame, shame, shame.
Well, Dennis, your enlightenment has surely made our night, and we shall think hard upon our actions in the future.
Damn right you should. He sort of gets up and he takes his little bindle and he walks off. As you do that, all of a sudden, you feel a tugging on your leg, Demiro. Something pulls you down sharply. Not to the ground, but like something tugs on you sharply.
I'll look down.
It's a 4-year-old girl. And I'm playing a plot twist card.
Oh.
Where did that come from?
Has that been there all along? It takes a bit longer to get back to town.
All right. The little girl looks at you and says, "Is that my mummy?"
That depends. Who's your mummy?
She points at Bree.
Well, then yes, that's your mummy.
Why is mummy sleeping?
Mummy had a very bad night, but
Well, I think mummy should go and sleep in her bed.
she should. Would you like to carry her up with us?
She turns to you and nods.
Is the door open?
Too much bloodline.
I don't know if people lock their doors here or not.
The door does seem to be open. It seems to be how the little girl has gotten out. Sorry, grumpy game dev got me with that one. you add one orphan to your inventory.
Find a last orphan.
Her mom's not dead yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. All right. You take her upstairs. As you do so, the little girl closes the door and locks it. Meanwhile, across town, Esther, you find yourself at a small well. The water has been freshly pulled and is placed in small jars around the side. People are encouraged to take the ladles that are there and help themselves to to a spoonful of cool, refreshing water whenever they would like, or to fill up a variety of containers and receptacles wherever you would like.
I take a small amount and I keep it in, I believe I have a water skin and I don't believe it's full, so I put it in my water skin, but after that, she starts to walk, if that's okay, walk just in general.
Sure.
Okay.
As you begin to walk, you notice and can feel the city, the walls and the streets. You've been in many cities before, but this city seems to have a history longer and older than even the people here could remember. Every town has life, fed into it by its people, and it tells you, it whispers things to you. But as you walk, all you hear is despair and darkness. Where there should be life and love and joy, there is nearly none to be found. The sound of children's laughter, the sounds of people bustling and moving seem to be all but faded. Even the rats sound dull and grey. Eventually, as you turn a corner, you come upon a person walking in the streets. What seems to be a baker carrying a tray of freshly made rolls. They're not baked, they're just kind of on the way to the bakehouse, as it were. He sort of walks past you and says, "Ooh, pardon me, miss."
Sorry, 1 second.
He kind of moves past you and carries on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just my mind needed 1 second. But okay, sorry.
That's good.
I'm Nante, excuse me, and I keep going on in.
As you kind of hear his footsteps leaving behind you, for a moment you turn to kind of, again, sort of apologize for bumping into the poor man. But when you turn, he's no longer there.
Is it okay if I do something real quick?
Yeah, totally. He just disappears. He's just not there.
She would probably have been doing this while she was walking. But she had been talking to herself, sort of slowly, so that no one else could really hear her, because she imagines people don't want to hear her talking to herself. But she starts to get louder. She starts to talk more audibly after that, just about how curious she is about everything, and she stops. Are there any windows, and were there any windows for buildings nearby?
Yeah, totally. There's a bunch of windows in the various houses and streets.
She looks at one. She doesn't look in. Can she see herself?
You indeed catch your own reflection in one of the nearby windows.
She kind of stops herself, realizing that she's probably being heard, and she starts to talk, but it can wait for a second. What I say. If you'd rather move on.
Yeah, no, sure. As you go to say this, and as you're talking, you notice an elderly woman standing behind you, one that you seem to recognize, and we'll come back to that one. But we'll give you a chance to talk to the reflection. All right. Meanwhile, across town, Vagag, you're in the church. You don't see signs of the priest.
I would have tried to catch him as he was walking away when they walked out of the. But if it was too late, then yeah, I guess. Is there some kind of bell?
You can see that there's kind of a metal thing you can sort of bang on to call for his attention.
Sure. The guy has kind of would know he would know what they do at churches with these, so he's just gonna ring it softly. He's not gonna be banging it. He's just gonna ring it like they do.
Ba-bum.
Yeah. Try to get him to come back out.
A few moments later, he returns. His look kind of a bit sour.
I'm sorry, Father.
It's quite all right. What can I help you with? I'm sorry, I don't believe I caught your name, fair sir.
My name is Vagag Gagev. I am a teacher over at Fairhaven.
Make a perception check.
You forgot to say, "Forgive me, Father, for I have ringed."
Oh.
Lose 10 XP.
15.
Hooray.
All right. So as you look, you notice that on his sleeves, which were previously beautiful, white, and freshly cleaned, there appears to be a blood stain on the kind of the edges of his sleeve.
Okay. Thinking back to what Esther said, I'm gonna keep in mind and be wary, but I'm gonna ask him what I originally came to ask. So first off, I want to thank you for what you did again. That was very kind of you to do for someone that you've just met.
Tis my duty and my responsibility in the absence of the late father.
As it should be. You are very wise. Being a teacher from the College of Fairhaven, I know somewhat a little bit about undead and possibly a little bit about vampires. Although I'm not too skilled in their knowledge of them. For vampires who have bitten someone and then they became a vampire, from which we have seen right now. If someone has been bitten by this individual and then we cured them, would that individual they bit become a vampire?
I am afraid I do not possess the knowledge you seek.
Can you tell me what this means? And I'm going to show him the bite on my neck from her.
He looks at it and he says, "This is quite the nasty laceration. I might be able to help. It appears as though your condition seems to be holding steady. Come with me. There's some medical remedies and herbs that I may be able to administer, along with some silver salvant that might prove useful."
Thank you very much, Father. Also, I do want to say if there's absolutely nothing you can do right now, I'm just glad you were able to help her. I feel like me being a teacher, first and foremost, students and the students protect them first. The teacher is the one who protects. So I'm not too worried about it if I end up getting it. I feel like I might be able to do something. I'm just wondering if
Then we
I
find
might
ourselves.
turn into-
Then we find ourselves in very similar positions. For you see, we in the clergy are much like teachers, and we encourage all of those in our flock to be treated as children. Now come. It is just this way. He makes his way to the back and down a flight of stairs.
The guide was never seen from again.
All right, do you follow?
I will.
Very
I need
well.
to see if it's pure or not.
I'm going to play a plot twist card that's going to make Neil's sphincter go. My plot twist card,
Oh no.
the point of no return.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
This is when you play the other plot twist card that says, "It was 10 minutes ago."
It was done. No, I don't have any more time.
All right.
Next.
Now, meanwhile, Demiro and Argento. As you enter, you place Bree down on her bed. The child seems to be missing, and the house is very dark. There are several lamps that you've passed on the way in, but they are none of which are lit.
Something doesn't feel right about this.
I'll cast a light. You can see.
You can see a very small 3-room apartment with a kitchen, laundry, and living space, all sharing one space, and a small bedroom to one side. As you look around, you can see that it is a very sparse home. with laundry kind of hung up where it can be hung, lots of different work attires, and of course a small workstation filled to the brim with straps of leather, shoes, and other bits and bobs that's used for cobbling. There is also no sign of the small child.
That's weird. Sure, the child came in with us.
She did as well. I didn't see her go anywhere.
Can we see the whole apartment from here?
More or less, yeah. Argento, make
I'll look down.
Argento, make a perception check.
See if she's still hanging on my leg.
Oh,
Thunder cracks. Argento looks around. He still can't seem to see anything. Demiro looks by his feet, but the small bolt of lightning that streaks and illuminates the house for a fleeting moment reveals to our audience a little girl on the ceiling. And as the flash disappears, Argento looks up and there doesn't seem to be anything there.
As a player, my first thing was to look up at the roof, but it doesn't seem like the usual sort of thing that a character would do.
No. Oh no. All right.
well, we all have an oh no moment.
Yeah. All right. Argento, Demiro, what are you doing as you're kind of looking around? The little girl again is just missing.
I'll call out for her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Feeling uneasy. Something doesn't seem right. Clearly, just I can't quite figure out what's going on here.
Little Bree.
Mini Bree. We're gonna call you Cheddar.
Mini Bree.
Mini Cheddar.
I look back at Bree. Is Bree still asleep, or she's there? Yeah.
Yeah, Bree is in the room. You kind of look back and you can see her. She seems to be lying down. On her bed.
All right.
But the little girl seems to have gone missing.
All right. Well, maybe we should. I don't know. I think we've come to do what we've done. Maybe we should go back to the bar now to meet everyone. What do you think, Demiro?
Demiro, make a perception check. With a 21, you feel a sudden urge to look over her body once more, just to be safe. As you inspect Bree's neck, the wound seems to have mostly healed. It looks like a bite mark, of course. But now that it's healed and not just a gaping open wound, you notice that the scarring that still remains appears to be of almost humanoid bites. Specifically, very, very, very tiny bites.
Oh my God.
No.
Meanwhile, across town, by a small watering hole, Esther,
Oh gosh.
you are looking in the window at your own reflection.
And you said I see someone familiar, or did you mean I see them?
Oh, this is just after you've had your moment, or you can have your moment, and then I'll throw that in.
Oh, okay. Because I just like you said that you turn, you see someone familiar. And did you want to do that first, or did you want me to do?
Do your thing first.
Okay, just want to make sure. So looking at myself, just 1 second. I'm trying to remember real quick. What is it? I take a moment and just kind of think. First thing I do is, you must forgive me, Your Grace. I don't usually tend to speak out loud. Your land is quite strange. And mine was too. So, my offer still stands. I don't have many stories, at least not as many as you might have. But I would hate to learn everything about this land before I hear anything from you. And then she keeps until she just kind of walks away.
As you do, that is when you turn and you see the familiar person standing behind you.
Oh,
An old
not at all what I
woman
thought.
who says, "Hello, dearie. Fancy seeing you here. Alone, are we? Where are your handsome gentlemen travelers?"
They are far from your grasp.
Nothing is far from Lady Morgantha's grasp. She reaches to the small cart covered in pies with these long bony fingers with gnarled fingertips. She grabs hold of one. There's a flash of lightning, which is incidentally the same flash of lightning that Demiro and Argento just saw. And in that flash, you see the witch hag towering above the cart with what looks to be a pie that is skinned with a human face before it reverts back to the old lady in a small sweet apple pie. She places it on her lips and as what looks to be cherry and jam pours down her lips. Nothing is out of reach, my dear Esther.
It's interesting you say that. And anything's in reach, you say.
You sound like you have something you want. Well, Morgantha knows all about this. Right, Cher?
She pauses. All I want is this. And she pulls out, what was it again? I'm trying to remember what it was called. She pulls out the Choroka deck.
She looks at it and she says, "You want what you already have."
I want to understand why people are so scared of what lies beyond.
Is that what you think? Oh, sweet summer child. People aren't afraid of what lies beyond. People are afraid to see what lies beyond because there is nothing. Nothing is beyond this place, and the cards know it. The cards only speak the truth, Cher. Go on. Why don't you take a peek at your future? Maybe you'll like what you see.
If there's nothing, why should I take a peek? It won't matter, will it?
Oh, it don't matter one way or another to old Morgantha. I'm just in town to sell pies. You'll have a nice day. And remember, Granny's secret recipe stays a secret if you know what's good for you. And she'll wheel the cart with a creaky, rickety pies Fresh cherry pies for sale. You see a light turn on in the distance, and a man step out and beckon her over. All right. Now. God, I love the witches.
There's,
So cool. All right.
oh, sorry, there it is.
Now.
I'm trying to. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
No, that's okay. I'll do it. Sorry.
All right, we'll come back to you. All right. Beneath the catacombs of the church, we find Vagag. Come now, step lively.
I follow him.
We have
Is
a
this
far
always-
way to travel and little time to do it in.
Has this always been under here?
Yes,
Okay.
the church has a number of places like this.
Ooh.
Oh no, Michael's bringing out a battle map. That can't ever mean good things. All right. The church's undercroft has a rune-hemmed wall. Hang on, that's a little bit loud for my liking. Give me a moment. Let me just.
Very eerie.
It is eerie. I mean, that's good, but I can. Oh, let me just. There we go. All right. Now. Now, the church's undercroft has a rough-hewn wall and a floor made of damp clay and earth. Rotten wooden pillars strain under the weight of the church above. Candlelight from the chapel above seems to slip ever so slightly through the cracks in the floor. Every now and then, you seem to catch a glimpse of a shadow, moving and darting around you.
So what is it you wanted to show me? I thought you were here to tell me what's going on.
No, verily I was here to cure you, to rid you of a potential infection. Do you not recall?
I do recall.
Excellent.
Well, why down here? Couldn't you have just killed me up there before I turned?
He turns and he looks at you. His eyes are wide. Why would you say that? Why would I
Sorry,
mean to kill you?
I figured, I don't know, I just...
No.
Well, I mean...
No,
okay.
I do not kill people. I have never killed a soul in my life. I am a man of the cloth, a respected individual. And I have no idea where you think you have the gall to speak so ill of my character, sir.
I apologize. I didn't mean it in that way.
This is good. Because I have never killed another.
This guy, on the other hand.
Well, funny you mentioned that. Now,
You see an arm crawling along the ground towards you.
let me just grab these guys super quick. Yep, I'm back here, you. All right. Now, from this other side of the room here, a shadow emerges, stepping forth. And what you see is this. A gaunt, starving vampire spawn. Father, how? I can't anymore. Why would you? He turns and says, "At peace, my son. Your folly was not your own, but it was mine. But there are others emerging. This man here also carries the mark." What? Father, what do you mean? What does this mean? You notice, Vagag, immediately, this dude has a huge, gaping scar wound around his neck. Please, Father, I can't anymore. It takes everything I have not to rip you to pieces. And I don't know this man, but I can smell him. Is he one of you, child? Is he like you, my son? No, Father. No, he is unclaimed. Fresh. Ripe. And with that, we are going to end today's session.
What? What? No!
Oh, no.
All right.
What?
Your next campaign.
All right. Yeah, there we go. So, this is na 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 na. Way. Goodbye. Yeah. All right. No. Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you guys had a great time. I know I had an absolute blast. I loved everything about today. Once again, guys, hang around for a little bit because we are going to quickly do a round of just character most memorable moments of today's session, which of course was inspired by the dreaded GM and his favorite moments, but we just like to go with our top picks. And then we're going to go raid someone. So if you guys have any questions for the GM, myself, my players, or just in general you want to say and share some cool favorite moments that you guys had, leave them in chat. I will read them out, and then we'll go raid someone. So let's start with Esther. Esther, how do we feel about today? Yay! Thank you. Sorry, was that too loud?
That's okay. I enjoyed today. Thank you.
Awesome. Did you have a favorite moment that you enjoyed?
I like hearing Demir to talk with the Bree at first.
That was very clever. I quite enjoyed that too. Demiro talking down Bree from combat. Honestly, that was just supposed to be like the little side combat, and then that was kind of gonna be it for that. But no, actually turning her into a whole thing was very inspirational and very cool. So good one. I like that one. Demiro, how did we go for today?
We've got lots of story in today. It feels like we're sort of fleshing out the more horror aspects of the world here, and maybe diving into a bit of the can't save everyone kind of campaign. So it's I'm finding it challenging to not jump to the obvious conclusion as a player that I don't feel like the characters would necessarily go that way.
Like checking the roof for spooky child.
Like the kid's probably on the roof. The vampire, the bit Bree, all that sort of stuff that kind of I don't want to jump ahead in the story, so to speak. So
no, it's good. It's good. I mean, and the thing is stuff like that makes moments just so much more palpable when they just are left in that kind of role play space. So that's very good.
I thought it was much more intense to let it sort of play out rather than try to jump the story, and then you kind of lose that interaction the characters get of really going through it. So I find that quite fun and challenging.
True. Argento, how do we go for today?
Thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest. I think it's exciting to be able to be one of the fans of the channel. So I get to watch, Esther and Vergog have experiences that I, as a player, don't know what's happening, but as a fan, get to watch and see how they interact. I really, really enjoyed Esther's interaction with the witch. I thought there was a few one-liners that Esther delivered that were just really good, catchy sort of comebacks the way she delivered them.
Oh yeah, no, I
Really
mean
fun
like
to watch, yeah.
the other encounter in the bone grinder mill where they first kind of encounter the witches and stuff like that was great.
Absolutely.
And I liked bringing the witch back as well. I also liked Esther's revisiting of Strahd and the reflection thing. So for those of you who weren't here last week, the group found out that Strahd was monitoring things through every reflection, right? Like that's how he stayed so omniscient throughout the campaign. And Esther's direction towards the mirror was directed kind of. I guess I felt like it was a little disguised as it was directed at herself, but there's this kind of small part that's like, no, this is my message to Strahd, to you. So that was very cool, and I liked that little exchange as well. Vagog?
I've never seen a vampire cured before. That was actually really cool.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right? There are so many rules in RPGs that are very open ended. While we haven't seen vampires often cured and stuff like that, I've always loved the old lore that as long as the vampire has not drunk its first victim, there is a way to save them. Thus, with the case of Mina Harker from one of the original stories of vampires and those tales. So I kind of wanted to lean on that a little bit, and so in a way, Bree turned into my version of Mina Harker. So while she bit Vagog, she didn't really turn Vagog, and because she was cured, Vagog being the only person who's been bitten, didn't really get a chance to transform. Now, this guy here, this vampire, has been starving and is like gaunt and stuff like that. But there hasn't been a cure per se performed on this individual. This could be because he has eaten someone. This could be because maybe he's been a vampire for too long. Whatever the case is, there is.
Maybe the father didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's lots of story here that leans on the idea that maybe they don't need to 100% attack and murder every vampire they see. That being said, there's also the tiny little baby that's also floating around. Well, the 4-year-old.
Chop its head off.
Yeah, it's just oh my god. So there's that to deal with as well. So yeah, I think my favorite moment today would definitely be the group splitting up. Now, I know a lot of GMs hate that idea. I, for one, love it because I love cliffhangers. It's not a mystery. I mean, everyone who's ever watched my channel knows that I end almost every stream on a cliffhanger. It's not because I want to be all dramatic and stuff. It is entirely because I love cliffhangers. I think they are the best moments because you heighten someone's emotions to like a peak, a pinnacle, and then you hold them. You get them to drag that tension out. For me, it's like pulling on a guitar string. And it's painful, but that release when we come back to it is just amazing. And I love doing that when the group splits, having those moments where, you head down the, thank you. As you head down the stairs and, sort of, we're going to pause there. And then you're inside and you see the lightning crash. Now, no one actually saw that, but cliffhanger, and then next scene, and then the old lady in the window. Even though I didn't want to interrupt Esther's conversation with the thing, which was fine, I still wanted to kind of leave on that little cliffhanger. So for me, that was, I think, the best bit is when a group splits up. It's a great opportunity for the GM to just table manage by going from great moment to great moment to great moment to great moment, and just keep engaging everyone as you go. And I had a lot of fun doing that with everyone. I think it made all of my scenes better today. because you guys weren't all together. That being said, it is still super dangerous. It's great for story, great for narrative, but oh my god, you guys are in so much trouble, so much danger. Oh my god. Okay, we got a couple of questions here. From Jasmine, we have: is the party now 100% opposed to vampires? Yeah, opposed to vampires, or will they give the next one a second chance? I guess, quick show of hands, who wishes to give vampires a chance on a case-by-case basis? Anyone?
Well, I think
Now that we know we can cure them, kind of.
I think in this environment, the characters, we don't really have much knowledge about vampires or like a preconceived lore of, they're all going around killing everyone.
We're going a little back and
discovering
forth.
them as we go.
So,
Yeah.
it depends on the situation because, obviously Vigog was thinking maybe he got bit. He's not sure. That's why he did this, because maybe there's a chance he can get, cured or whatever. But if not, it's like, he'll live with it as a teacher because he still want to save people.
I think as a group, we're treating them pretty much like all the other things we've come across of, we don't necessarily just smash everything we see because we can. Although we do if we have to.
Yeah. I'd agree with that sentiment. I think it's more for me, it's, when we were fighting the vampire, I was all for going at it as hard as I could. But once the vampire started to make, I guess, pleas for help, it then triggered me as a character to, listen in, because my whole thing is about helping those who are weak and who are, I guess, overtaken by things. So I guess there's always that sense. But it'll be interesting to see what happens next week with the child vampire from the roof, whatever it is. If what comes of this, it'll be interesting to see the reaction, I think. So
I'll have to keep remembering, fortune's favor could cure vampires.
Yeah, it's totally that.
Awesome. All right. So with that, we are going to go straight into our raid. We, of course, like to thank Hero Forge for, of course, offering us some wonderful miniatures to be able to play for our tokens, which we use throughout the course of our stream. Special thanks to Fantasy Grounds for, of course, the wonderful platform we use, and, of course, to Sirenscape for the awesome sounds. So do stick around for the promo, and we are going to go and raid our friends over at Daleric, who is currently running their tabletop RPG, Aurum in Climb. It is their session 0, so we get to see them set up for a brand new campaign. So that is going to be very exciting. So thank you very much once again, everyone, and we will hopefully see you guys next week when we continue this awesome and wonderful adventure. Thank you, everyone, for the cheers and the bits. Tasfriel, Tricky Titan, Hester TM, you guys are amazing, and always a pleasure to see you guys. Mwah! Much love, and fare thee well. Bye!
Bye!